Happy New Year! And if you were very lucky this Christmas, Happy New PS5!
Of course, unwrapping one of these bad boys is often overwhelming. So what better time for your pals at PlayStation Access to step in and offer the sage wisdom of the experienced PS5 owner? We've rounded up all the tips, tricks, and life hacks that may have slipped under your radar. These are the things every new PS5 owner should know. And if you aren't new to PS5, why not share what you've learned in the comments? What's the one thing you wish you'd been told when you started using your console? You've got exactly 11 minutes 55 seconds to work it out. Let's kick off with the first thing that happens every time you turn on your PS5. No, not the surge of adrenaline that you'll be fighting reanimated skeletons and hanging out with Astro.
I'm talking about the beep.
Ah, the PlayStation beep. Is it friend or foe? A warm burst of nostalgia, or an announcement to everyone in the house that you're trying to grab 5 sneaky minutes on Tetris Effect? If it's the latter, you can now stop your console grassing you up. Head to System and Beep Sound, where you can set the volume of the beep or mute it entirely. In the words of the Bee Gees, how loud is your beep? Let us know in the comments.
Next, we've got some simple shortcuts that shave seconds off your PS5 experience. And seconds do matter, whether it's an extra lap on Gran Turismo 7 or a very short Hades run.
While the obvious route from playing a game to the home menu is bringing up the control center and selecting home, you can just hold the PlayStation button to go straight to the home menu.
No offense to the control center. We love you, control center.
And how many times have you nudged the analog stick to scroll through selections to reach the options in the top right corner of the home menu? No need to wrestle the stick. Pressing triangle instantly jumps you to these selections. This also works in the PS Store and the PlayStation Plus screens too. If you want to quickly mute all sound from your console, maybe you don't want to scare the delivery driver with the sound of explosions, you can save time looking for the TV or sound system remote by holding the mute button for a second. I like how the amber light then pulses, like the controller is impatiently tapping its foot while it waits to start melting your ears again.
While we're talking controllers then, here are a couple of cool extras to point out.
If you still have DualShock 4 wireless controllers, you can connect those to PS5 to play PS4 games. They won't work with PS5 games, but they are useful if you run out of DualSense charge or want extra pads for some local multiplayer. PS5 also offers a cool accessibility feature called Assist Controller, which lets you use 2 controllers as if they were one. Perfect if an adult wants to help a child through a difficult bit. Or, in our case, you need a young person's reflexes to get our aching bones through any bit. To switch it on, head to Settings, Accessibility, Controllers, and use Second Controller for assistance. You can see it in action in our Metal Gear Solid 2 challenge in this year's Christmas maze. Hopefully you can put it to better use.
Come back!
Put the shooter
Telepathic
on!
Ashley!
Oh my god! Why
We've got
would
to
you not
work
put the shooter on?
Because we've got to work together.
Now, I don't know about you, but I cannot hear game characters speak without seeing subtitles. Don't ask me the science.
A good tip for keeping subs on, and a bunch of other cool stuff set to your preferences, is by heading to Options, Save Data and Game/App Settings, and then select Game Presets. Here you can choose default presets for game difficulty, display modes, subtitles, camera inversion, and multiplayer session behaviour. When you then play a compatible game, those choices are preloaded. If you know you prefer your games to load up in buttery performance mode,
Or are overcompensating for something by playing on extra hard difficulty,
then presets let you pick your playstyle before a game even loads.
the worst thing that can happen on PS5, or in life in general really, is someone coming in and playing on your save files. Or, and I hate to even entertain the idea, earning you a trophy.
Note to self, wash out mouth after VO recording. You can avoid this abhorrent fate by using console sharing to give other users access to your games. This way they won't need to log in as you and mess with your hallowed progress. It's dead simple. In Options, head to Users and Accounts, select Other, and then enable console sharing and offline play. You can only have this activated on one PS5 at any given time though. But at least no one is scuppering your permadeath run on The Last of Us, huh?
With its sleek and minimalist vibes, it makes sense to keep your PS5 tidy and organised.
On the home screen, this means pinning favourite games, up to 5, so they are always waiting for you. Simply select a game tile, press the Options button, and enable Keep in Home. A bigger challenge is taming your entire game collection, which you can do with a bespoke game list. If, like us, you've amassed hundreds of PS4 and PS5 games over the years, or from PS Plus, you might not want to rely on the preset filters to search them. To create a game list, head to Game Library and Your Collection, and then select the Create Game List icon. You can now pick the games you want in a list and label it up. Perhaps you want to make one for party game favourites, or games where you can pet the dog.
Or games where you can't pet the dog if you're that way inclined. Like me.
Of course, the bigger the game collection gets, the more you're going to think about storage. The PS5's 1TB of storage means it can hold a lot of games in its belly. But that storage can be expanded by up to 8TB by adding an M.2 SSD drive, which is sold separately.
It's a bit more technical to install, but here's how it's done.
To install an M.2 SSD, you first need to remove the top panel. Lay the PS5 flat with the power button facing away from you and prise off the right-hand faceplate by pulling the top left corner upwards. Under the faceplate, you'll find the expansion slot cover, which you can remove by taking out the screw and lifting the cover. Once you've revealed the expansion slot, unscrew the M2 screw that's in there to remove it from its default position. Don't forget to grab the metal spacer that sits underneath it too. Now, insert your M.2 SSD firmly into the slot on the left until you hear a click. Replace the spacer and screw at the corresponding height of your SSD to lock it safely in position. Reattach the expansion slot cover and screw it back in securely, and pop your PS5 faceplate back on.
You can now plug the console back in and get back to the good stuff. All them games.
Even more of them than ever with your newly expanded storage. While an M.2 SSD lets you increase the number of PS5 games installed and ready to go, another way to manage space is to use an external USB drive for storage.
This can be used to store both PS5 and PS4 games.
PS4 games can be played directly from an external drive, making it a great place to store them if you want to keep the internal SSD for PS5 games only. PS5 games themselves can't be played off an external drive, but you can store them there. Then it's much quicker to copy a PS5 game from the USB extended storage than to re-download it. If you're already using an external drive with a PS4, you can connect it to your PS5 and it will work straight away. If you want to use a new USB extended storage drive, you'll need to format a compatible drive by going to Settings, Storage, Extended Storage, and then selecting Format as Extended Storage.
Did you know you can talk to your PS5? And not in a weird way.
Yes, my precious electronic baby. No, I'm talking about voice commands. You get your PS5's attention by saying, "Hey PlayStation," and then giving it instructions. You can start a game by telling it to open game name, or find a game or app by saying, "Find game name." If you're watching or listening to media, you can tell it to pause, resume, rewind, or fast forward. It can also be used to capture footage without using the capture menu. Just say, "Hey PlayStation," and then capture that to save recent gameplay, or capture the last 2 minutes. Or you can simply say, "Start recording" or "Stop recording."
Truly, this is the crazy sci-fi future we were promised growing up in the 90s.
Before any of this works though, you need to activate voice commands. Hop into Options, head to Settings, and enable voice commands. You also want to switch on Listen for Hey PlayStation. With those activated and your DualSense wireless controller microphone turned on, you can now bark orders at your console all day, like some mad king.
Hey PlayStation, fetch me some grapes. No? Okay then.
There is a lot of joy that comes with owning a PlayStation 5.
There's also the pain of wanting to use the TV when someone else is hogging it.
The solution? Remote play, aka streaming your PS5 on a compatible device. If you lose the battle for the big TV, you can take your gaming to other screens. Android smartphones and tablets, iPhone or iPad, a Windows PC or Mac, and of course, PlayStation Portal. That's the handheld peripheral designed specifically to give you the best remote play experience with its 8-inch screen and DualSense wireless controller features. You can check out the link in the description for more on that. We're also big fans of using our phone with PlayStation's Backbone One, an attachment that adds a controller to the edges of your phone for precise controls. Whether using a phone or piping to a PC or laptop, you'll need to install the free PS Remote Play app and use system options on PS5 to enable remote play. You'll need at least 5 megabytes per second internet to use the feature, with 15 recommended. Get all that together and there's no reason you can't enjoy God of War on your Bog of War.
Next fun fact, did you know you can give your PS5 a name?
I am very for naming technology, as anyone that borrows my hard drives can attest to.
They're all labelled Ash rules.
But naming your PS5 also comes with the added benefit of helping to identify it when using Remote Play or sending instructions with the PlayStation app. Especially useful if you've logged into multiple consoles recently. Just head to System, System Software, Console Information, and select Name. You don't have to call yours Access PS5, but you can.
The worst thing about PS5 is sometimes you have to go to work and not play PS5. But you can keep a tiny piece of it with you by installing the PS app on your phone.
It lets you keep one foot in the PlayStation ecosystem, as you can use it to respond to messages, add friends, use voice chat, or quickly log into new hardware just by scanning a QR code. My favourite feature is the ability to buy games from the PlayStation Store.
Perhaps you've just seen an incredible deal in our weekly store video.
And then set them downloading from the app, so they're installed and ready by the time you get home, like a pair of virtual slippers by the front door. To use the app, you'll need iOS 12.2 or later, or Android 6.0 or later to run the software. But that is a very small ask for a very handy gizmo.
And there you go. These tips and tricks are just the tip and trick of the PS5 iceberg. There's a link to 39 more tips and tricks you can try in the video description below. So don't forget to check that. Who could that be? PS5, is there anything you can't do? Ugh, I am going to eat these whilst you tell me your favourite life hacks in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more. Goodbye!
PlayStation